Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. So I'm really thrilled to get into this topic because I feel like there's so many misconceptions about ADHD that make people believe that they don't have it or just dismiss it. And there's a lot of people who don't have ADHD and just have no clue anything about ADHD. So I'm just here to educate you guys and let you know some of the misconceptions that are often spoken about. So the first one I want to introduce is that ADHD and ADD are two separate things, but ADD no longer exists. I think this is quite important because a lot of people will say they're ADHD, but then you might be thinking, well, they're not hyperactive, how can they have ADHD? And it's because ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, and ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, it's all been combined into one. And in many ways this makes sense, and in some ways it's not, doesn't make that much sense, and it's pretty obvious what it is, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. But ADHD is people who have like the hyperactivity component, and ADD is pretty much people who don't have the hyperactivity component. There's a lot more information you can read up on ADHD, so I really recommend utilising any kinds of medical websites and things like that to check them out, because I'm not a doctor or somebody who's really educated in this field. It's just from what I know from my own experience and because of having ADHD myself. So the type I have personally is ADHD inattentive type. I am moderate severity is what they call it. And you just basically, you have to go through a diagnosis process, which I think took 2 appointments for me and a questionnaire for myself and a questionnaire for my mother. And then I think I might have done more than one questionnaire actually, I can't really remember. I did quite a few different things, and we just talked a lot about what was going on and what was like going on in my life and how I was as a child and how I am now and where I put my attention and all these kinds of things. Lots of different things we spoke about. The second misconception about ADHD is that it's just a so the first one was being that not everybody who has ADHD is hyperactive. The second one is not everybody who has ADHD is a child. This is a huge one. This is what I thought. I basically believed that ADHD was a disorder that just meant you were a hyperactive child who couldn't sit still and couldn't concentrate, and there's a lot of misinformation going around about that and how ADHD is actually not a real thing, but it is a real diagnosed condition. It is a bunch of personality kind of traits put together, but these personality traits were all either learnt or kind of maybe in our DNA a little bit, and there's lots of different causes for it, and it's very subjective and people have different opinions on all that, so I'm not going to get too much into that in this video. What else is a misconception about ADHD? How it makes you feel, for sure. So I didn't realise I had ADHD until I actually read how it made somebody feel, and that described exactly how I felt. So when I'm talking to people about ADHD, I like to talk about how it actually makes you feel, as opposed to these are the symptoms of ADHD. I think one of the big misconceptions for me was that I didn't realise that I had problems with attention, and this is really hard to explain because obviously attention is one of the main aspects of it, but basically with ADHD you cannot focus your attention like a normal person, a normal brain will do. Basically you either hyper focus or you like pretty much under focus. So you really, like when you're in the state of hyper focus, you're feeling really passionate, really driven, you feel so focused on something and you can put all your attention into that, and it's like nothing else in the world is going on. Like I could listen to music and loads of different words, I could like and literally just work, whereas now I'm on medication, I really struggle to do that with listen to music with words. And then there's the under focus, where you just can't focus when you really want to try. You're trying your hardest to focus and you just can't focus, and it's really difficult because you switch throughout the two, but then it's really difficult to go from a place of being hyper focusing to under focusing, and it can cause all different issues. It can cause like brain fog, fatigue, all kinds of things come from that. Hyper focus is really wonderful when you're in that experience. You feel so passionate and you feel so focused and just really good, but then you often experience the opposite of that, and it does not make you feel very good. But yeah, definitely the way you feel. A lot of people with ADHD are quite sensitive, struggle with emotions, like regulating their emotions. a lot of people with ADHD also, I guess, I don't know, like, my mind has gone completely blank. This is another thing. Sometimes your mind can go completely blank. Sometimes you just like get distracted really easily by something. It's really not fantastic, but I definitely feel the medication helped me so much, and I have videos on that if you're interested in seeing what I take and how much I take and my experience with medication, because I definitely recommend medication for treating ADHD. I think as a child, I think there's a lot of other things you can do, so structure, therapy, all kinds of things that are going to help that child. I don't think it's always the best idea to take medication when your brain's still developing, but I still feel that is the choice of the adult, and I think that's something they should discuss with the child and things. And I have no way, any authority over to say what anybody else should do. I just give my experiences. But there's so many misconceptions about ADHD that really, they kind of frustrate me, but I also get it because I used to have so many as well. So like when I read, okay, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, sorry. When I was looking up ADHD, I was looking I was Googling my feelings. I was Googling like feeling frustrated and bored and overwhelmed, and then somebody was like, oh, I have ADHD, maybe you do too, in this huge forum. And I was just like, whoa, like this is what I've been looking for this entire time. I started doing quizzes online, and I was so amazed that I actually have this issue too. People with ADHD have very scattered brains, so they will be like doing one thing and switch to the other and back really quickly. It actually kind of slows you down, even though you think at the time you're like doing so much and you're being really productive, but then you realise like actually I haven't actually done that much. People with ADHD lose things a lot, forget things a lot, struggle to have some kind of structure, struggle with planning out things and getting them done. I spend a lot of time, I guess, dreaming. That's just me, maybe. Dreaming about things and not actually being able to like accomplish too much in the long run. And yeah, so I guess those are the main things. And then I think for people, if you don't have ADHD or you're thinking maybe you have ADHD, I would definitely start to look up the symptoms. There's loads of quizzes online you can do to see, have I got ADHD? I was always coming up with intensive type. And when I found out, my mind was blown. I was just like, this explains my whole life. And I didn't discover this until I was 27 years old. I'm now 28. So this was all like a huge, amazing discovery that I had about myself that just blew my mind. There's a book that I recommend by Dr. Gabor Mate called Scattered Brains, Scattered Minds, something like that. Just look up him on Amazon. He's like an amazing author. He's an amazing doctor. He made me really understand where my ADHD came from and how I can heal and like live a really good life because of it, and fix relationships and all that kind of stuff. He's really good at all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're somebody who doesn't have ADHD and you get frustrated with somebody who does have ADHD in your life, I recommend that you just practice patience and love towards them and really try and understand where they're coming from. I think that's a big one. I feel like people in my life have really, like my partner is very the opposite of ADHD, if that's possible. And I feel like he's been very patient with me, very caring. When I've had like moments of being really frustrated or angry or just breakdowns and things, he's been really, really kind towards me and understanding, even though he has no idea what ADHD is like. He just kind of, I don't know, it's wonderful. So be with somebody who, you know, you can be really open and honest with about your experiences, and I think that's really important. And yeah, I'm going to end it here because I'm kind of rambling now. Thank you for watching the video. I'm sure there's many more misconceptions, and if you have any, please feel free to share them below because I'd love to hear some more. It's unfortunate, but as with any disorder, disease, illness, mental health problem, anything like that, unless you've been through it yourself, you can never really fully understand what it's like. And it is a struggle, and it's frustrating and overwhelming, but there's ways to treat it, and there's ways to embrace it and, you know, have a really good life. So that is the end of the video. I'm really awkward at the end of this, so thank you for watching.